Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to Owl's Nest up here in Campton and Thornton, New Hampshire. My name's Tom Mullen. I'm a member of the Alliance Against the Northern Pass. I'm here today with George Wright, who's recording this. George is a producer of videos for the Alliance, and he's here filming with me. This is Saturday afternoon. It's a cold and windy day up north, but I'm here to talk to you about something that happened this past week, this past Wednesday in Concord, New Hampshire. And I want to get it right. So I'm going to apologize in advance because I'm going to read from a script that is too long for me to remember. So bear with me if you will. This, by the way, is a three-part script. I'm calling it a trilogy. It's entitled, you'll get a kick out of this, it's entitled Something's Rotten in Concord. And before everybody rushes off saying Mullen said Concord is rotten, I just will read you the footnote about this title. The title to this trilogy, Something's Rotten in Concord, is a phrase lifted from Shakespeare's Hamlet, in which Marcellus says, quote, "Something's rotten in the state of Denmark," end quote. In modern days, this phrase has come to mean that things are unsatisfactory, that there is something fundamentally wrong. So that's the background behind the title of the trilogy, Something's Rotten in Concord. We're going to do this in three parts. The first part is entitled Politics in New Hampshire Sinks to a New Low. And each section of this has a subtitle. So subtitle 1 bears the title Cronyism Rears Its Ugly Head. This past Wednesday, March 20th, at the State House in Concord, honest, transparent governance, what New Hampshire used to be famous for, took a back seat to what I call cronyism. Jed Bradley, a member of the Senate Energy Committee, considering Senate Bill 99, slipped a decidedly underhanded maneuver past the public and his fellow senators on the committee using highly questionable, disrespectful parliamentary procedures. In doing so, Bradley ignored the wishes of tens of thousands of Granite State citizens who wanted Senate Bill 99 passed in order to implement a one-year moratorium, a pause, if you will, to slow down the current breakneck pace of approving huge elective energy projects like Northern Pass, and the proliferation of gigantic wind turbine fields. This moratorium, if passed, is designed to give our state's regulators the time and the resources that are needed to properly vet these projects. Our state needs to be sure that all optional energy projects, ones that we call not needed to keep the lights on, truly provide a net benefit to New Hampshire's businesses and residents, not just the energy companies, stockholders, before they are given a green light by the state's regulators. What's at stake in this process? Well, it's our state government's obligation to make sure that the unblemished character of our state, especially north of Concord, so critical to our tourism-based economy, is protected from an unsightly proliferation of wind turbines, power towers, and cables that, once erected, will wreak havoc with the reasons why tens of millions, literally tens of millions of people come to visit our lakes, hills, rivers, mountains, and forests every year. Tourism and its many components make up our state's largest single industry. Why mess up the beds we sleep in by destroying the magical nature of our surroundings that stimulate people to come here year after year after year? The notion of messing up our landscapes with projects like Northern Pass for no net benefit to our state is tantamount, in our opinion, to sheer, utter lunacy. Next subtitle, The fix was on. One purpose of this news release, article, whatever you'd like to call it, is to make as many people in New Hampshire as possible aware of how certain politicians in Concord are doing business. But this article is also meant to reach out to the committee that heard Senate Bill 99 this past Wednesday in Concord. Another objective is to call attention to the actions of one individual on that committee, Senator Jeb Bradley, who was the person primarily responsible for the shameful performance that went on in room 103 under the guise of being a so-called committee hearing. Apologies in advance to the rest of the SB 99 committee members who were hopefully not complicit in the pre-planned deceit and subterfuge that was inflicted on those members of the public who drove many, many miles, perhaps hundreds of miles in some cases, to attend a hearing where there was no intention by Bradley from the very outset to pay any attention to what the voters had to say because, quote, the fix, unquote, was in before the meeting ever started. That's part one, folks. We'll bring you part two when next we meet. Thank you for listening in. We appreciate your time. Goodbye now.